gonna make a start in just a moment, and if you'd like to listen to some music, if you're on Spotify, I've got a playlist for this class, and I'm pretty sure I did one and put it public, so hopefully it's there, and it's called Air. It's Rise and Shine Air. But of course, it's fine to not listen to music and to just enjoy, doing yoga and just listening to your breath. That's nice too. So we are going to make a start just in a seated position, and that could be however is comfortable for you. If you can kneel, that would be good today, but you don't have to kneel. You can sit cross-legged, it's no problem, or your legs straight, and just going to close your eyes and take these first few moments to just settle in to your breath, to your body, just kind of being a little bit of an observer of how you're doing today. So last week we started to look at the natural elements and how they weave into our yoga practice. And we're continuing with that, and we're moving on to the element of air, which is all about lightness, new beginnings, fresh perspectives. It is the essence of inspiration and manifests in you through your breath, residing in the area of your chest and your heart. And it's through the breath that the healing work of air is accomplished. Your breath is a real profound reflection of your state of mind, and it's one of the few things that we can take a little bit of control over. And when you just pause to really focus on the breath, you can experience the newness of each moment. And these elements are also linked energetically through our chakra system, and the air element is linked to Anahata. This is the heart chakra. And it is the place where you really balance your body and your spirit. So this morning, let your breath guide you through a practice of feeling a little lighter and opening your heart. So after these few moments of just breathing naturally, gonna take a little bit more control over the breath now. I'm gonna see if you could deepen the breath but contain it. So what I mean by that is often when we get deeper with the breath, we sort of expand out from the belly and the chest. But see if you could expand inside but contain it, so that when you breathe deep and when you expand, it's kind of resounding around inside of you. You might feel it sort of pushes out into the rib cage instead of blowing out into the belly. So that when you take a big inhale, you can feel the ribs expand maybe a little to the side, and you get to fill all those little spaces between the rib cage. You sort of massage your intercostal muscles there. So nice, big, expansive inhales. And then as you exhale, we just soften, we just let the breath kind of sink back into the body. And when you inhale, nice, deep, expansive breath, but trying to keep that from just blowing out into the belly, but actually filling all the spaces around the heart and the chest. So we're gonna have one more cycle of this deep, expansive breath. We're filling all those spaces inside of us, circulating around the heart, letting the element of air do its thing inside of us. And then on your next exhale, just release that little control and just come back to where you started, where you're just breathing naturally without effort, just letting the breath come in and out. You don't have to do anything or change anything. And then when you're ready, you could start to flutter your eyes open. And we're gonna move from sitting to come up onto the knees, the hands and knees even. And when you come onto your hands and knees, keep your hips over your knees here. And we're just gonna walk the hands forward. So we bring the chest and the heart to the mat, as well as the head, but we keep the butt reaching to the ceiling. So this is heart to mat pose. This is Anahata Asana. Stretching into the shoulders. And then we're gonna let the forearms come onto the mat and lift the chest off the mat. So we're gonna come into forearm plank, and you can stay here with your elbows under your shoulders and a straight line to your wrist. But if you feel your shoulders need some support here, you can form a triangle. Bring the palms to touch, interlace the fingers. Little finger hanging out, you're gonna tuck it inside so it doesn't get all the weight of the body on that little joint. And then one foot steps back and then the other. So lengthen the legs away. Try to pull up from the low belly. Keep your hips in line with your shoulders and try to draw the shoulders back towards the ribs so the neck doesn't get squished with the shoulders. And of course, don't lose this connection to your breath. Keep your gaze down so your neck is long. And then lower your knees. Keep your hips over your knees, walk your hands away, and sink the heart to the mat again. Excuse me. And then we're gonna lay the forearms back down on the mat, or you're gonna modify with that triangle. One more time, forearm plank. Step one leg back, and then the other. Pull back through the heels, pull up from the belly. So it feels a little lighter when we use the right muscles. Lengthen through the tail. Try to keep the collarbone nice and wide. Don't hold the breath. And then lower the knees. This time, let your sit bones find your heels so you can come into child pose. Here you can just relax and you can breathe into that space that we just worked in between the shoulders, the upper back, the back of the heart even. And then one more time, we're gonna come onto the forearms. So again, same thing. You can just let the forearms, palms be flat, or you can form that triangle, interlace the fingers. This time we're coming into dolphin pose. So tuck your toes and lift your hips up as high as you can and let your head hang down. So it's like downward facing dog, except we're on the forearms. If your legs are tight, really bend your knees. So it doesn't matter if your legs are straight or not. We're trying to really work the shoulders while we stretch the shoulders. Keep breathing. And then lower your knees, sit back to the heels, and you're back in child pose. From child pose, bring yourself up onto your knees. So you're in a high kneel. And we try to squeeze the legs together. Keep your left hand to your left hip. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling. And we're gonna side bend to the left. But as we side bend to the left, try to lengthen the left side too. So imagine you're kind of having to stretch over a beach ball on that left side. And keep this right shoulder kind of plugged down so it doesn't crowd the neck. So you might not go super far, but you should feel you're really lifting out. You can feel like lightness up into the chest as you ground down through the legs. And then we're gonna switch sides. So right hand to the right hip, left arm, reach it up. We're gonna take this little side bend, but we try to lengthen. The hand on the hip can actually help. You can almost feel like you could pull the hip down as you reach the rib cage up. So we get length on both sides. Try to relax the shoulder. This is a constant problem for me. My shoulders always want to be up the hair. So try and like plug it down towards the ribs. And then come back to center. Bring your arms behind this time. Interlace the fingers. See if you can get the whole palm of your hand to touch and just squeeze the shoulders together. Lengthen the tail. And just think about the opposition for your spine. So as you reach the heart up, reach the tail down, and we just get a little stretch into the front of the body now. And then release your hands, bring them down under your shoulders, Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and press them back in down dog. It's gonna feel so easy after all that time on the forearms. So in down dog, we're in this upside down V shape, trying to keep length in the spine. So of course your knees can bend as much as you need to. We really press the hips to the wall behind you. You might even pedal your feet a little bit there just to stretch out the legs. The head, just let it hang down between the arms. And then on your next exhale, we're moving forward. So step, walk, or hop your way up to the front. When you get to the top of your mat, just let yourself drape down to your legs. So you can put a bend in the knees again to feel the belly, the chest sort of rest to your thighs. And to come up, we use the power of the legs. So really push through the feet to propel yourself up to stand. Let your palms find each other and then bring your hands back in front of the heart. So sun salutation A with a little twist in the middle. So not really a twist, but just changing it up. So bring your arms up overhead, palms touch together. And then as you exhale, dive down to your legs. And when you inhale, we just lengthen, look up and stretch the spine, and then fold again till your palms come under your shoulders so you can walk or step back into plank and lower yourself down onto your tummy. When you get down onto your tummy, we're just going to cross the left forearm across the front of the mat. Bend your right knee and see if you could find your right foot with your right hand. So you can stay propped up to get a little extension in your spine, or you could just rest the forehead to that forearm. So it just depends how your back feels today. And of course, we're just breathing. Keep reaching the hips into the mat. Keep lengthening from your hip to your knee and just stretch through your thigh. And we're gonna switch. So release the right leg. Cross the right forearm to the top of the mat. Bend the left knee. See if you could find the left foot with your left hand. If you can't find your foot, you could use a belt or you could hold your trousers. And again, you can lower yourself if that feels a little nicer today. And we just lengthening from hip to knee on the left side now. And then release that left leg. Bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, press back. Downward facing dog. Couple breaths in down dog. Hopefully it's starting to feel a little easier as the body warms up, especially for the legs, that we can really push the weight out of the arms and into the legs. Make it lighter for your arms. And then your next breath, coming forward, up to the top of the mat. We lengthen out on that inhale, half forward bend. Fold to the legs on the exhale. Inhale, power up to stand. Palms find each other. Exhale, back to the heart. Let's do sun salutation B now. Inhale, reach up nice and tall. Exhale, dive down to the legs. When you inhale, we lengthen the spine. Then we take the next breath to fold and step back to plank. We can lower the knees on the mat to come to the tummy, bend the elbows back, arms hug in. Inhale, little coil of the chest. Exhale, press back to down dog. Except we're not gonna hang out in down dog just yet. Little turn of the left heel in, step your right foot forward, and we're gonna power up. So take your time, move with your own pace of breath. We'll all meet up at some point, so take it slow. Exhale, hands come down. We take that sequence of vinyasa again. So lower yourself down from plank. Breathe into your back bend. Breathe out to down dog. Same thing. Turn that right heel in. Left foot steps forward. Rise up on your inhale. When your palms touch and your breath changes to exhale, we're back to plank. This is the last vinyasa in this sequence. So lowering down, breathing into back bend, try to keep the shoulders off the neck, press it back to down dog, and staying here, breathing. Your down dog can even turn to child pose. Remember, you can come there whenever you need to. We'll have a couple breaths, whichever option you're choosing. When you exhale, step forward, up towards the hands. We're going to lengthen out the spine, fold to the legs, and then when you inhale, we're going to sit the sit bones down this time, reach the arms up. So we're in Utkatasana, this chair pose, and then standing up. Next breath, arms come down. So take a step back with whichever foot will help you face the long edge of your mat and still maybe face the direction that you want to face in your house. So the feet are a little wider than your shoulders, and we're going to turn the heels in and bend the knees. So we're sinking down into goddess pose, legs. We're going to open the arms wide and take your left arm, cross it over your right arm, bend the elbows. Find opposite palm if you can, or opposite shoulder might feel enough. And we're just going to breathe here. So really allow the legs to engage strongly so that you can feel a little lighter in the upper body, that you can just kind of sink into the legs and lift up, be light in the upper body. Now we're just going to turn the feet so they come parallel. So just turn your heels away. And you could straighten the legs a little or keep them as bent as you like. And we're just going to fold forward and just relax down between the legs and take some nice deep breaths into the back of the heart. Next, inhale, press away from the legs, come back up and straighten your legs now. Uncross your arms and then just roll your shoulders up and back, and then turn the feet again, heels in, toes away, arms go wide, squat down, take right over left. Same thing, eagle arms, except we have the different arm on top. Opposite palm, opposite shoulder, and we're just breathing here. Nice, slow, steady breaths. So we can start to turn the heels away, back to parallel, straighten the legs a little bit more, and just let yourself sink down. You can bend the knees as much as you need to let this feel like it's less about legs, more about upper body and breath. So just breathing again into the back of the heart. Once again, we come up from the legs. So use the strength of the legs to let it feel light when you come up. And we're just going to untangle the arms. And we're going to turn whichever foot you have to the back of your mat. So for me, it's my left foot, but it might be your right foot. So that it turns, so that now you have an L shape with your feet. You're going to bend that foot, bend the knee, which is facing the back of your mat. And just open your arms now for warrior two. So look to the fingertips that are towards the back of your mat. Have a couple breaths here in warrior two. And then turn both of your palms to face the ceiling. And we're going to let the arms come up till your palms touch together. Then bend your elbows and bring your hands behind your head. But don't let the elbows go super wide. Try and keep your elbows hugging in as much as you can. So we open up through the front of the body. We also getting a little stretch into the shoulders. Then send your arms straight back up again. Take them back out to warrior two. The arm that's towards your back foot, bring it behind your back. And the arm that's forward but actually facing the back of your mat, take it to the ceiling. and then bend that elbow and take hold of your head and just let your head sort of relax into your hand there. Okay, take back control of the head. Release both your arms again, warrior two. And we're taking side angle. So bring that front arm, which is really facing the back of your mat, to that bent leg, to the thigh. And reach the other arm all the way up and over. Really reach the fingertips. Try to find that expansive breath again, like you could fill every little space between the ribs, all the muscles that help us breathe. A little massage to let air just circulate around the heart. With your next breath, power yourself back up. Switch your legs. So turn whatever foot should be facing the front of your mat to the front of the mat. It's going to make it a little bit easier now. So front knee is going to bend, arms going to come out. And you can look towards those front fingertips. Settle in again to warrior two. Nice, slow, steady breaths. Now turn both your palms to face the ceiling. Reach the arms up, let the palms touch together. Bend the elbows so the hands come behind the head, but don't let your elbows splay out. Try and hug those elbows in. Breathing here into the front of the body. Keep lengthening through the tail. And then send the arms back up. Take them back out again. Back arm behind the back. Flip that front palm to the ceiling. And we're going to reach that arm up again. Bend the elbow and just take hold of the head. So I usually kind of grab just at the base of my skull to my neck and just really take the weight of your head off your body so it feels a little lighter. And we can just breathe here. Keep bending into that front knee. Going to allow the head to take back control. Open up both of the arms now and side bending towards that front leg and side angle. Try to not put all your weight through the arm, the forearm, which is resting to the thigh. So it's lightly resting there, and we're reaching out through that top arm, trying to find that deep, expansive breath so we can feel all this space between the ribs. And just letting air do its thing inside of us. This time when you exhale, bring your hands down to frame your front foot. So you can step back to down dog, hang out there if you like. Or you might like to come forward to plank first. Lower down to the tummy, your knees can touch, bend those elbows back. Inhale to your back bend, exhale back to down dog. So you choosing your practice today. When you get into down dog, we're gonna walk the hands back towards the feet. So really pull up the low belly. When you get back to forward bend at the end of your mat, bend your knees deeply so you're sitting down into a really low squat. And from here, we're going to come down onto the mat. And you're going to lie yourself down. And we're going to set up for Setu Bandhasana. This is the bridge pose. So make sure you can get your neck nice and long. And then when that happens, don't move your head. So important to protect the neck. Your arms, we're going to bring them down by the side of the body, and we're going to turn the palms up this time round. You might just notice the difference. So make sure your knees are over your ankles so you can really use your legs. Think about how strong you used your legs when we did that goddess pose, all of our standing postures. It's the same. Tip your pubic bone to your belly button. Start to press the floor away with the legs and lift the hips. And then allow the chest to also reach up to the chin. And we're going to breathe here. Really anchor down through the feet. Feel like you could wrap your outer hips around to get your butt supporting you too. And then slowly, slowly bring your spine back down from the top all the way down to the bottom. Now, from here, just turn your palms down now into your mat and just see if that feels different. And come back up again, same way. Anchor through the feet, tip the pelvis towards the belly, and then start to peel the spine up from the bottom all the way to the top. Let the chest reach towards the chin. And if you feel you have more availability here for deeper back bend, you could even start to draw one shoulder and then the other. You might find they can come together. You might not. It's early morning, so our body's not always super open there. But we have done a lot of work to try to open those shoulders. So if you can get that, go for it. And then when you're ready, so some of you might be loving this, some of you might be like, ugh, back bends. So come out whenever your body needs you to come out by opening up those shoulders again and laying the spine back down on the floor. So we're going to come up a third time or not. So if you feel you've had enough back bending, you're going to stay. But actually, some of you really love this Urdhva Dhanurasana pose. And if you don't know what that is, chances are you probably won't do it today because it's a very, very deep back bend. But I think that in this country, you call it crab in the playground. So this is where your hands come either side of your ears on the floor and you push up into a big arc. But you don't have to do that. And again, we haven't really had the time to warm up fully like we would in a longer class. But you might come back into bridge and choose whether you liked your palms up or whether you liked your palms down. That might be enough. Or you might feel like you're coming up into bridge. So everyone starts in bridge. And then when you come up, you can add the lift into Urdhva Dhanurasana if you want to. But this isn't a posture that I love, so you don't have to do it again. So whichever one you choose, palms up, palms down, come up into bridge. If you want to add the arms behind the head and lift all the way up, go for it. When you finish, whichever option you're taking, it's hard for me to see because most people, when they're on the floor, I just see like furniture. So when you finished, bring yourself back down nice and slow. And then we're going to take the knees in towards the chest and just wrap your arms around your legs. Maybe even draw the head up towards the knees like a little ball. And then slowly release the head back. Take one knee in each hand and let your knees just drift a little bit to the right. Turn your head just gently over to the left. And then bring your head and your knees back to center and let your knees go just gently, slightly to the left and the head rolling to the right. One more each side. So when your knees go slightly right, your head's going to roll left. And then back to center, knees go left, head goes right. And then back to center. Open your arms up and let your knees come over to the right. Let your pelvis come too, so that you get that stacking of the pelvis with the knees, and we're not twisting too much into the pelvis. We twist from the spine and have a couple breaths here. And then bring everything back through center and take your knees, your hips, the pelvis over the other way. And then bring everything back to center again. And we're just going to slide the legs away. Take the arms down by the sides, palms up. Let your feet flop away and let yourself just settle in for your Shavasana. While you release the physical body, do your best to just watch this element of air inside you, moving through you with your breath, the tool that you always have to help keep the mind a little quiet. so your mind can rest with your body too. Thoughts and feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. Thoughts and feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. So if you have the time to stay a little longer, by all means, go for it. If not, deeper breaths, wiggles of the fingers and the toes. When you're ready, you can ease the body over to lie on the right side. And then eventually bringing yourself up to sit. So I thank you all for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.